Yes, indeedy. Huh. Well, hello everybody. Today we're going to talk about a very important topic. Purigen. Let's see what we got here. Waba. Now, I have had a long relationship with this odd filtration media. I started out in freshwater and I used it in every single one of my freshwater tanks. So, if we're going to make a video on Purigen, let's first read about Purigen. It says, Purigen is a premium synthetic polymer that is unlike any other filtration product. It is not a mixture of ion exchangers or absorbents, but a unique macroporous synthetic polymer that removes soluble and insoluble impurities from water at a rate and capacity that exceeds all competing products, by over 500%. Purigen controls ammonia, nitrites, and nitrates by removing nitrogenous organic waste that would otherwise release these harmful compounds. Okay, so basically, if you have a nitrate problem, you probably shouldn't use Purigen. Right. If you have an ammonia problem, you probably shouldn't use Purigen. Now, if you have a fantastic tank, and you want to keep it that way longer in between water changes and keep better water quality, then you want to use the motherfucking Purigen. Purigen does not remove ammonia or nitrite from the tank. What it does is it stops things from becoming any of those. So if you were to have a tank that, let's say, started out at 0% on everything, and you didn't have Purigen in it, the levels of these, your level of ammonia would not rise because hopefully your tank is cycled. But basically, the level of nitrate and the level of phosphate and nitrite, it would not rise because it would be absorbed by the Purigen. It will eventually, but the Purigen greatly slows it down. And I know this for a fact because on my freshwater tank, I would put 2 sacks of Purigen. That's 200, let's see. Yeah, you're talking about 200 milliliters of Purigen for 35 gallons of water, which is batshit insane pointless. But I can tell you, I wouldn't change the water for 2 weeks, and that's with 25 small fish in it, and 35 gallons. I wouldn't change the water for 2 weeks, and the nitrates, with an IOS test, would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 3. That is fantastic. The only filtration on the tank was just a simple hang-on back that was filled with ceramic media and a pad. That's it. So it is a great means of nitrate control as long as you don't feed your tank like a dumbass. Also, now that I know better, I would say that you're much better off buying your Purigen in a large form factor like this than spending money on the 100 milliliter bags, because really, you don't need that much. For this tank, for instance, I have it in this Aqua Clear 20 with Phosguard, and I have about 40 grams sitting in there. It's perfection. Now, what else is there to say about Purigen? I don't know. I mean, it's fantastic. What else can I fucking say? I like to run it in everything that I do. I can, like I said, it's such a better deal to buy the big bottle of it. Oh, it smells fantastic. And I can say I've never tried renewing Purigen. I've always thought that was a bad idea because you can regenerate this Purigen by soaking it in bleach and soaking it in water and soaking it in primed water. and then use it again. But honestly, it's so cheap, there's no point, because if you mess up at all, well, your tank's going to be swimming in bleach. Screw that. It's just not worth the risk to me. I've never tried it. I'm sure though people would be like, oh, you're a fucking dumbass. It's so easy to do. You can't mess it up. And shit like that, but I've never done it myself. I've always just used the 100 milliliter bags and just thrown it in whatever, but I decided to up the ante and buy 500 milliliter and individually weigh out how much I need for the tank. And 40 grams is more than sufficient for about 30 gallons of water. I've learned it's quite good. Nothing wrong with the nitrate level here. I'd say the nitrates are running at about 3 or so. It's usually 3 or 4 because I feed the fat ass clownfish every single day, because if I don't, he gets pissed. But this is, of course, the total conversion complete. All done. No more sand, no more rock. We've got a nice frag rack here that I've had for a while, and we've got in here a nice candy cane, a mushroom, LPS, 4 zoas, and a whisker coral that's doing very well. The only thing that bugs me is I don't know how much par is hitting the coral. I don't know if I'm like growing it correctly. I don't know if everything is optimal, and I really wish I knew. It's just one of those things. It's like you get OCD about everything. You're like, oh man, am I using enough light? Are the nitrates too low? Are they too high? Alkalinity and calcium match out perfectly. Don't have a magnesium test. Phosphates practically 0. I've got about 30 grams weighed out of Phosguard in the AquaClear also. So it's pretty cool to see a clownfish, coral, all this cool stuff, and there's no live rock and no live sand. And it's not attached to a large system. The reason I can do that is because I have a massive fucking brick of Marine Pure in the sump that seems to have done its job just perfectly. There's no real videos, or not too many videos on YouTube of people using Marine Pure like this. I plan to do a video and talk about it, but really, well, what am I going to say? I mean, it's pretty simple. I took a brick, I threw it in the bottom of the sump, I aim a power head at it, I'm done. My biological filtration is good. Nitrates aren't off the roof, there's no ammonia, there's no nitrate. It's fantastic. What more can I say? That's it. It just works. It's good enough. It's not live rock, it's not live sand, whatever. The water itself, surprisingly, it holds, maintains, and retains calcium and alkalinity very well. There doesn't seem to be a problem with that. I know that some people have said that without live sand and live rock, the tank doesn't seem to hold it very well. But with this small amount of coral in there, it's kind of negligible. If I were to take maybe like, let's say 300 like frag plugs and throw them up in there, maybe we'd see a problem, but right now, so far, there's no problem. Once or twice a week I feed the frags with some BRS reef chili so far, so that's going pretty well. The only problem is fucking algae on the frag plugs. I gotta figure that out. Nothing else has algae on it, and everything's crystal. But yeah, Purigen. I would really recommend using Purigen. It's awesome stuff. It has always worked out for me. I would say buy the 500 milliliter bottle or more if you can afford it, then individually put it into bags. The only problem with this is that you're going to have to use chemi bags or the bag made by Seachem, because it is so tiny it will go through anything. So aside from buying the special bags, which if you buy chemi bags, they're cheap as shit off Amazon, there's really no downside. It's awesome stuff. It's great. That's about all I've got to say about Purigen. See you.